got a new hour on YouTube. It's called Mixed Reviews. Cavaliers play tonight. It's their last homestand in a minute because they're going to be gone through the middle of the month. Trailblazers are in town tonight. They're on the downside of 500 right now. Cavs are around 10-8. Trailblazers, Cavs tonight, 7 o'clock from the Romo Fijo. So you'll hear it live here on MMS. Your pregame begins at 6:30. You can also listen on the iHeartRadio app if you want to do that. Hey, Ian.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, so you guys were talking about that necrophilia story earlier.
Yeah.
And you guys had mentioned, I don't know if, like, anything happens to you from doing that or anything.
You mean bacteria-wise?
Yes. So I was reading a story on Reddit, I don't know, a couple years ago.
Always reliable.
Actually, yeah, I know. But she had gone out on a one-night stand, and she met a guy, and the guy had finished on her chest when he was done with everything. And
all right, yes.
So she goes to the hospital to get checked for an STD because she started breaking out where he had finished on her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think I've heard the story.
So they go to, the doctor tells her, no, you don't have an STD, so I'm going to send you to the dermatologist. The dermatologist looks into it and goes, yeah, there's a parasitic mite in his semen, and that's what's getting you. And you either get it from having sex with dead bodies or with dogs.
Parasitic mite in your semen is going to be on 2 hours to midnight this Saturday night. It's 120 minutes of metal here on the... I mean, I've heard of people having like a semen allergy. But
I saw that in the league. I didn't think it was real.
I mean, semen allergy is absolutely real, but the story that Ian was telling sounded like it was one of those like urban legends that made the round on Reddit. But I mean, listen, if they wrote it, it must be true, Ian.
Right.
A parasitic mite.
I just know I read it and thought it was disgusting. So when this is the first time a topic has ever came up about necrophilia since then.
Man, he has been holding on to this for a long... One of these days, I'm going to use this parasitic mite story, and it's going to be... I'll tell you know what they say? They have said it for as long as they've been writing history books. Parasitic mite makes parasitic right. And, okay, thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. You got to remember those things. The parasitic mites in the semen. It's how did we take such a precarious and salacious turn on the program? I don't know. Hey, Chad.
Hi.
You know, when yeah, right. I just teed you up perfectly with parasitic mite in the semen, and I'll let you go from there as a professional.
Well, just happy to finally figure out what this rash is.
Kelsey, what have you been up to?
Easy. We just had your lovely paramour in here a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't want to put her on the spot, so to speak, but she didn't mention anything about that.
Well, next time you have her in, you have your opener, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess so. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I am in Austin, Texas. It was raining this morning. And now the skies they've opened up. It's perfectly blue. It's a nice day. It's a nice chance to get above 40 degrees for the first time for me since I live in Minnesota. It's been good.
You do Rogan's Club down there?
For the first time, I'm doing sets this week because I'm in San Antonio this weekend. And so I came down to do a couple podcasts to promote the new special. And then I decided to do some sets at his club. And then I'll be back down here to do a full weekend in May at his club. Yeah.
It's kind of an inside baseball question, but, you'll talk about some of the comics we've talked to have said that they really, really love the vibe of Rogan's Club. Like, he really went to great pains to make it a place that was comfortable and acoustically sound, and just a place, not just creatively where people can open up. And then, here in Cleveland, comedians almost universally are like, I love hilarities, and Nick, it's one of the greatest clubs in the country, blah, blah, blah.
Of course, yeah.
And we take that as gospel. Is there a club that you have always loved doing that's just not on people's radar, or you're a big enough deal where you're not playing small rooms, but is there a club that comes to mind you go, man, I don't ever hear anybody talking about this club, but I love it?
Well, first of all, you'd be surprised what rooms I play.
Yeah.
But secondly, I'm trying to think. I really love the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Indiana
that
University.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's a fun room to play, and there are a lot of those, little independent clubs that are fantastic. I will say that, Rogan's Club, for whatever it's worth, it is great. The crowds are really fun. You can tell that it's run by a stand-up comedian, and
Right.
it was not run by a stand-up comedian, but kind of developed, and they had their opinion in it because it's great. There's a fun hang afterwards, and just for those of everybody wondering, there's no talk of another insurrection. No one's sitting around in the corner.
Yeah.
No one's sitting around in the corner planning the next January 6th.
And Chad knows this because he's been wearing a wire. So you've done a great service to your country. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. People are like, why are you taking pictures of the bar as I'm holding my phone closer to their mouth?
Yeah, right. Why is he wearing a wire? No, he's just he's nervous and itchy because of that rash. And so you don't want people getting the wrong idea, right? But your boyfriend, I know Kelsey Cook is your lovely paramour right now, but your boyfriend Bill Squire is here too, and he can't wait to see you.
I'm excited to see him. We just talked about possibly doing some sightseeing in Washington D.C.
Ooh.
Yeah,
the nation's capital.
maybe we'll do our own little insurrection together.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what.
I
keep
don't
your
know.
mouth shut because I'm in here talking about it. I'm down here in Austin figuring out the ropes.
I'm just now looking forward to going up all them steps.
The old Kung Fu Panda, get you?
Yeah, that's right. I'm excited for that weekend, and this will be the first time we work together since back in April. So I'm sure your material has developed a lot, and my material has changed a lot. So that's always fun to see the new stuff going on. But mostly, it's just we always just have a good hang. And I don't know. You're just my buddy, and the new special is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the hang, too. It is, here we are fluffing each other up.
Right.
It's
This
always
is the
nice
place
hang.
to
It's
do
always
it.
nice to catch up, talk about the kiddos and all that stuff. But then it is fun to watch the progression. You're right.
Yeah, and just kind of talk shop a little bit and talk about what we've been up to. But with the new special coming out, I know it's got over 100,000 views in the first week, so that's great. And you filmed 2 in one night, which is you keep saying has never been done.
Well, I just don't think it has. That's what I keep saying.
I don't know. I'm going off of your word.
You know what? Now that you mention that, I think the last time Chad was here, he was talking about that he was going to do 2 full specials, right? I forgot about that.
Yeah, because he was
right,
in here in
because
November last year.
It was the week before I did it, because what I did at Hilarities is I went in and I did the exact. So here's what I did in Madison, Wisconsin, right? I did one show at 7 o'clock, and that was 1 hour of material. And then I got off stage. They changed the set. I changed my clothes, and I went out and did a completely different hour of material for the second show, and then recorded both of those. And when I was at Hilarities, I did the run through at Hilarities. So I did Friday early show was one. Friday and Saturday early show were 1 hour, and then the late shows were the other hour. So I got to practice when I was at Hilarities, and it was great because some people stayed for 2 shows or came for the whole weekend. I mean, it was really felt very supportive before this thing that I was going to attempt to do. And Madison was awesome because mixed reviews, I call it that because I pick on the far left and I pick on the far right and I pick on myself. And it's fun because Madison, is like this university town that's liberal. But if you'll remember, Wisconsin as a whole became a swing state when Trump was elected.
Yep.
So it was red. And so it was great because I even make mention in the special. It's like you can tell who lives in Madison and you can tell who drove their truck in to watch by what they're laughing at. And it was a ton of fun to pick on both sides because by the end, we were all laughing together and realizing it's way more fun to do this than scream at each other all the time.
Well, and that's what's so good about your comedy is you take big swings at both sides, and it's only those fringe people that are ever really, they're so loud that people think that's everybody, but it's just not the case. Most people can hear a joke that they don't necessarily agree with and go, I don't think that way, but it's a funny joke, so I get it. But those people aren't loud. The people that are loud are the ones that are so far left or so far right that are just like, yeah, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. You gotta get canceled, blah blah. And it's so tiring. But that's also how so many comedians market their specials now, by being, I'm saying the stuff that that you're thinking, but you just can't handle, and they play off that controversy. It's like, I just want to see a good special. How about that? Just like, how about a funny special, not someone just trying to rile people up.
Yeah, I'm never looking for controversy. I mean, not in my stand-up. In my personal life, always.
Always, constantly, yes. That is very true.
That's where the good stuff
is. You're looking for controversy when you're trying to buy a pizza from Casey's. That's when.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I do love a good rough up in public. But, as far as like stand-up goes, it's way more fun when you pick targets that could be in the room, but for the most part, the majority of the room is going to laugh at both of those. And you have to, here's the thing, it's almost like being a dad prepared me for this, because when you're talking about politics, as embarrassing and disgusting as this is, you have to be perfectly fair to both sides, or somebody's going to go to their room and pout. And so, I took, for every single thing I said about the right, I said something else just exactly equal about the left, and it was really fun because no one, it
is like two kids screaming at each other.
Yeah. No, we get it. You're a centrist pussy. You got no backbone, bud. I get it.
You gotta pick a side.
I just want to make everyone happy.
No, it's fantastic. But another thing about you is, in public, you do love a good dust up. Even if you're, so not last time we were working together, but when we were out in Sacramento, it was the playoffs for the NFL, and you got the cops called on you, or the security called on you, because you were screaming at the top of your lungs over the Vikings versus Giants game. And I just wanted to bring that up again, because I know it still hasn't, that wound hasn't healed.
Yeah, this is a story I tell in my act because it was so ridiculous, but the security came to the door and they said, we had a domestic disturbance complaint about this room. And I said, well, no one's been in here. And they said, well, we don't believe you. And I said, you want to come in here and try to bend this sock? Go ahead. But I have been here by myself. So it was a whole to-do. I couldn't believe it, just because I was screaming at the Vikings, I guess. But I guess the lesson there is keep it down.
Did they put the sock, just for safety, in like an evidence bag or anything like that to check it out? Or was it like one of those old weightlifting videos of the guy trying to tear a phone book in half? How did that resolve itself?
It resolved itself by not being real. I was just trying to get them to giggle. There was no sock.
Oh, that's a bummer. I take everybody literally, and that's, oh, come on. Hey, when you guys go to D.C., will you rent a tandem bike at least and send us photos?
If they have one to rent.
They do. They have a bunch. They got a fleet.
Okay, I would do that. I'm down for that.
Where are you going in D.C. where they have tandem bikes?
The Tandem Bike Memorial. Thank you very much.
Memorial? Not museum. Memorial.
Yeah. The memorial. All of the people who've died on tandem bikes. It's in between. Everybody wants to go to the Washington Monument or the Lincoln Memorial or the blah, blah. Nope, the Tandem Bike Memorial. There's a reflecting pool that's got helmets floating on it and the whole thing.
It's the gravestones as far as the eye can see, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
A lot of tandem bike accidents in the early days of building this country.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it goes unheralded, but I'm here to keep that flame alight.
Those old tandem bikes had that big wheel in the front, and they were really hard
penny
to ride.
farthings. Yeah. Now, the Penny Farthing Museum is right. That's at the Smithsonian. So, ironically, you cannot take a tandem bike into the Smithsonian, but so many things to do there. In
Says you, Alan. Says you.
Arrest number 2 coming.
Right.
Catch me if you can.
And you also, so you got your podcast, Middle of Somewhere with Cy, and then you also started a new podcast with Kelsey, your girlfriend, who is a very successful comedian as well, called Pretend Problems, which people can watch on your YouTube channel or wherever you get podcasts. And how did this come to be? Where you guys are just like, we have such funny conversations. We should monetize this. We should take our private life.
Surely it didn't come out of a funny conversation. It came out of we had to check in with one another because one of us was bothered by something. And so we resolved it. And we were like, oh my God, that's so healthy. What are we doing? We should have this conversation and record this, because this is the first relationship I've been in where that is the kind of that's the kind of communication that goes on. And then we also try to be funny, which I hope comes across, but it's more of like just living together and getting through the daily grind of having someone around that's not you, that you have to get used to.
Yeah. Were you fighting over a thirst trap on Instagram, Chad?
You know, I will tell you this. That has been an argument.
Well, then keep your boobs off the
I was
internet,
going to say,
Chad.
tell her to
That's
lighten
on
up.
you.
Yeah, keep your cookies and cream to yourself.
Yeah, but I would imagine at some point,
the world.
Yeah, at some point, that is at least a conversation, yeah?
Yeah, it has been a conversation. It's just like, you know, and I'm not talking about either one of us. I'm talking about the just other people posting these things, and you know, how long do I have to watch you stare at it? Give me a time. Give me an amount of seconds, because once I know, I can deal with it. But until I know, then I'm just kind of waiting, being like, when are you going to flip it?
Will you be a first week guest? Because it's, you know, showbiz. It's 2 or 3 degrees of everybody. Will you be, break the news right here, a first week guest when Taylor Tomlinson takes over for Corden?
I will not.
Ah, you son of a whore. All right, fine. Well, then I guess that's that.
What's the
no, I mean, I don't even know what that show is about. I think it's supposed to be like the At Midnight show from Comedy Central.
Kind of like
it
that,
is,
yeah, I think so.
What's the plan with the other special? Because you shot 2 in one night. What are you gonna give it like 6 months?
Well, the other special, the second one was purchased by Netflix.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
congrats.
that's huge.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We sent them both, and they felt like mixed reviews. Was like, listen, some people are not going to like this, and I said that's the point. So whatever.
Usually they like to lean
in
in that kind of controversy.
Yeah. I just don't know. There is like a little bit of COVID stuff at the beginning, and so I wonder if they're like, listen, man, we're done with this. We can't even hear that word anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they took the second one, and I'm recording another one March 2nd in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Jesus,
and so,
dude, can you calm down a little bit?
He's very prolific. Let him be prolific.
I'm hoping that they will switch out the two, so I can get the one that I recorded in Madison. I can get that one back, and I can release that one immediately, and then they can take the one that I do in March and release that one in the summer or something.
Okay. Well, that's really cool, man. I mean, just getting them to sign that deal is a huge step. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. It was it's fun. You know, now when I turn on Netflix, I go, well, eventually, I don't know when, but eventually I'll turn this on and
see your stupid face.
My face will be looking back.
Your stupid face. Well,
Yes,
congrats on all this, man. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Bill, any parting
Now,
words?
if I could just get rid of this rash.
I know. Well, I'm going to call your
life would be
physician
perfect.
and your congressman.
I actually know a little trick for that. Don't worry about it. I'll text you.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait to see you next week, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And also,
It's going to be a blast.
like, I also know, like, as much as we want to go out and sightsee, I'm more excited about where we're going to go and eat. And I think you're probably the same.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I will tell you, and this is not just, again, another fluff, but I can't wait to be back at Hilarities. It really is. You were talking about it before, but it really is one of my favorite clubs. I mean, the way it's run is unbelievable. Nick is just such an
the
absolute
best.
legend in comedy and just running a business. I mean, it's really incredible. So
We're
I'm
lucky
excited
to
be
have
back
him. I'm glad we have a
Yeah,
place
yeah.
like that here that people want to come to.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You will have a long line forever and ever trying to get into that place. So, thanks a ton for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it, brother. All right, man.
See you next week, bud.
Yep. Talk to you guys soon.
Later. There's Chad Daniels. You can go to chaddaniels.com. Mixed Reviews is the new hour. It is available now on YouTube, probably for free, right?
Yeah.
You can just watch it. Oh, that's exciting. I'm going to take a break here. If you want to send a text for anything, 35192, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. Rover's Morning Glory.
Look at this picture. Here's a woman who got face filler, got an infection, and her nose fell off.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that disgusting?
Looks painful.
I sent this to my wife. I go, don't let this happen to you. She goes, I don't get face filler. I go, I don't know what you're doing, but...
Botox. Who cares? Let her do Botox. And fillers. I've had fillers before.
You got a problem like this, you got to get it taken care of right away or your nose is going to fall off.
Oh, my God.
You've been married to somebody with no nose?